Fellow Ugandans, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start by apologizing for coming late. It's because myself and my team did not travel on the same flights, and we had issues of getting together. My team arrived very late in the evening last night, and today I was trying to link up with my team. But fortunately, I now have my team with me. The Commissioner of Citizenship and Passport Control, Mr. Ngodia, is here, and I believe he will be in a position. I believe he will be in a position to address most of your concerns or issues. I also have another technical officer by the name of Sad, who is a lawyer by profession, but very experienced in matters of citizenship, of your citizenship. So that is the team that I have come with. First of all, I'm extremely delighted that I'm here with you, and thank you for receiving us. We feel at home. And would like to do everything possible to ensure that we improve on service delivery to our people, or to our people who consume our services. So one of our priorities now is to make sure that our quality of service is improved. One of the things that we are trying to do under immigration and citizenship, of course I'm a permanent secretary of the entire Ministry of Internal Affairs. Internal Affairs is a very huge ministry. It has police, it has prison services, it has NGOs, it has immigration and citizenship, it has community services, it has Amnesty Commission. It's such a huge ministry. But I think for today, the team that I have come along with are the experts on matters of citizenship and immigration. However, nothing stops us today from touching on any issue of internal affairs that is outside the scope of citizenship and immigration. So if you feel that today you have any issue that is outside the scope of citizenship and immigration, I am here and my team to try to address it. Before I proceed, Dr. Benon Mutambi is my name. I am the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and I would like to give this disclaimer that I have been a permanent secretary in that ministry for the last 4 months. So I can say that I am new. The last 4 months. So I'm still new. Nonetheless, I'm working with my team to make sure that we improve on a number of things. One of those areas of improvement is to make sure that when it comes to visas, we want to make sure that we have an online system, or the e-visa system, which is already operational, and we are launching it across the different embassies, in about 12 embassies, including the embassy here. So the e-visa facility is going to be launched together with the e-payment component. In the next financial year, we want to make sure that we also launch the e-citizenship component, e-citizenship, so that you can be able to apply online for citizenship. The other aspect we are working on, or the other service that we are working on, is the e-passport. The e-passport, that one, we are in the preliminary stages of trying to identify the service provider whom we can partner with to be able to provide that service. So we hope that in a year or so, we should be able to have transited to the e-passport facility. Given that I have come with these experts, if you allow, I will invite Mr. Saad, who will now take us through the different facilities that we offer, and then myself and Commissioner Ngodia will stand ready to answer any questions that you may have. So without any further ado, Saad, please come and explain on the services that we deliver in the area of citizenship and immigration. So have the microphone, sir.
Is there a port?
Sir, can you have the microphone?
He has refused.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Doctor. My Permanent Secretary, Minister of Internal Affairs, my Commissioner, senior government officials, ladies and special gentlemen of the diaspora, I'm once again Chairman Sadnoma, an immigration officer who has served diligently for the last 9.5 years. I've been given this opportunity to appear before you and give you information on the services we offer as immigration and how useful we could be to the ladies and gentlemen.
You'll have to stand.
So we have happened not to move with our laptops because these days your country gives very many security alerts. So as we were boarding, they told us laptops are not allowed to enter this country. So we left them, but I came with a flash with the information. So I don't know who could assist us in the house with the laptop so that I can be able to present my. Yes.
Even without it, you have it in your head.
The problem with the head, I may forget.
Edward,
Okay. Let me use.
can you make a quick announcement and see if anyone here
Yeah,
has a
use your,
laptop?
no, you just want something to read.
I think he has the presentation, so he can take us through that presentation, even in the absence of the laptop.
Okay. Then you have to stand here and then they put it straight.
Oh, but he doesn't have the, there's no laptop connected here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the gentleman you make a quick announcement. See if
So,
anyone
ladies and
here
gentlemen,
travel with a laptop you had in your car. Make a
So
quick
as Minister of
announcement.
Internal Affairs, Director of Citizenship and Immigration, we have prepared a paper on the functions of the Directorate of Citizenship and Immigration Control to Ugandans in the diaspora, Washington, D.C., 24th to 26th March. The overview, we had the vision, the mission, strategic objectives, structure, the legal and regulatory framework, then the services we offer, the areas of collaboration with missions, then the celebrated issue of citizenship that keeps having issues here and there, then about the other services we offer that would help people in the diaspora. So I'll begin by sharing with you our vision is to be the model of excellence in immigration service delivery. The mission is to facilitate the legal and orderly movement of persons to and from Uganda, verify and process Uganda's citizenship and enforce immigration laws for the security and development of your mother country, Uganda. Then our strategic objectives are to ensure effective border management and visa handling, granting citizenship, issuance of passports and other travel documents, and to ensure compliance with immigration laws. Then, briefly, our structure. On top, we are housed by the Ministry of Internal Affairs, which is headed by a minister. Then we have our Permanent Secretary is here, so you have the entire hierarchy of our institution with you here. Then we have the National Citizenship and Immigration Board, which has on occasions attended the UNA Convention. Then we have the Director's Office, then Department of Immigration Control that is responsible for border management and issuance of the various visas, certificates of residence. Then we have the Department of Citizenship and Immigration and Passport Control, headed by Commissioner Nicholas Ongoja. Then Inspection and Legal Services for all legal matters, where you have issues. For example, like our brother from Nigeria was asking about his legality, and within the presentation, it's elaborate enough that you'll have answers to those questions you have been asking. So, I'll start with the citizenship. This is a term referring to legal status acquired by an individual within a state to which that individual offers allegiance, which confers certain rights and responsibilities on that person. So once you're a citizen, being a citizen of a country is enough to confer certain rights to you. That's why you hear people making rights on land and demanding rights with the Minister of Lands. Someone has land because the Constitution on one side says power belongs to the people, then also says land belongs to the people. Then on one point now, government also wants the same land to do a project for the common good. So now there's a struggle within compensation. That's why you can go to court to enforce these rights if you really feel aggrieved, which I believe in a civilized society is really healthy. So in Uganda, we have the various types of citizenship. I know members of the diaspora, your main concern is actually dual citizenship. But before you go to dual citizenship, you must be a citizen of Uganda, or you must become a citizen of what? Of Uganda. So the first and most common is citizenship by birth. And the Constitution and Article 10 defined who is a citizen of Uganda by birth. Although most people confuse it with the descent, they say, but I'm a citizen by descent. Once the Constitution defines the term, that is the term you use. So in Uganda, we don't have citizens by descent, we have citizens by birth. So Article 10A is the effect that every person born in Uganda, one of whose parents or grandparents belongs or belonged to an indigenous community that resided in the boundaries of Uganda as of 1st February 1926. So all these communities are mentioned in the third schedule of the Constitution. That's where we get tribes. I mean, okay, the Constitution tried to distance itself from the white tribes and call them indigenous communities. So it referred to them as indigenous communities, so we should refer to them as indigenous communities. So the various tribes, communities in Uganda. Yeah, so the communities, Baganda, Basoga community, Banyangole, Bachiga, around 50-something tribes.
Wow.
So the ingredients here, that every person born in Uganda, one of whose parents, one parent, and this constitution is a gender-sensitive constitution, either parent, whether it's the mother or father, not like the previous constitution which referred to the father. If your father was a Ugandan, it didn't mind about the mother. So, but the 95 constitution is a special, up-to-date constitution that is gender-sensitive. Either parent can pass on the genes of citizenship to the child. So we need only one parent to belong to those indigenous communities that were in the boundaries of Uganda as of 1962. Then the second one, type of birth, is every person born in or outside Uganda. So the children you produce here, even if you left 50 or 70 years ago, but you belonged to an indigenous community that is defined in the first provision, your child is a citizen of Uganda by birth, even if you are. So the next provision, Article 11, talks of a citizen of Uganda, a child of not more than 5 years of age found in Uganda whose parents are not known shall be presumed. Yeah, if you are found in Uganda, but of course this one is subject to evidence. Just wake up one morning and claim I was found in Uganda at this age without a police report or evidence of a foster care order or something like that. So then now the citizenship, after the first category of citizenship by birth, the law realizes that on many occasions, due to circumstances, people may have to be registered as citizens of Uganda. First and foremost, it talks of a child under the age of 18, whose parents are not citizens of Uganda, but is adopted by a citizen. If you adopt an American child, that child can be registered as a citizen of Uganda on condition that there is evidence that this is your adopted child. So you have to have an adoption order to apply for this kind of registration. Then, so don't fear adopting American children. Then citizenship by registration under Article 12. Under Article 12, the first category is persons born in Uganda after 9th October 1962, whose parents are neither refugees or diplomats, but has lived in Uganda continuously to date. So people who have been in the country since independence, but maybe were not captured in the independence constitutions as citizens of Uganda, but if they were born and have lived in Uganda continuously to date, on application, they are not automatic, but on application and have evidence they have been born and have been in Uganda all this time, can be registered. Then the second and most important, under Article 12A, my Nigerian brother, any person married to a citizen of Uganda, the legal and substitute marriage for a period of 5 years, shall on application. In fact, the law compels us to register you as a citizen of Uganda by force. However, the forms of marriage that are recognized in Uganda are for the first is civil and church. That one is a monogamous marriage, you know it. That is where governments marry people or the church.
Thank you.
There's that law, the Marriage Act, you've heard of it, that regulates that. Then the second type of marriage is the one for Muslims, marriage under the Muhammadan Act. This one is potentially polygamous, so you can have 4. In America, you cannot have more than one wife, but in Uganda, we are lucky. You can have more. This one you can have a maximum of 4. So if you're Muslim and if you marry more than 4 foreigners, we are sorry, those ones can, the 5th one cannot become a citizen of Uganda. But the 4 the law recognizes and fall within this category. Then there's the Customary Marriages Registration Act. It is one man against all the women he can have. It has no limit. Yes, it's one of our acts. Potentially polygamous. So it permits a man to marry even 50 or 100 women in our culture, for as long as they agree to live together. So what you need is evidence that you have a certificate of marriage. So we can register even your 50 women to become Ugandans, even if they are foreigners, for as long as you prove that the marriage is existing and is subsisting.
You just increase the population.
Then the last form of legal marriage in Uganda is the one for Hindu marriages, for Indians. There was a law on that regulating their marriage, so it's also recognized in our law. So after 5 years in a legal, I mean those types of marriages registered by our law, the various types of marriages. It can be church, it can be civil, it can be Islamic, it can be customary, it can be a Hindu marriage. Those are the marriages our law talks about. Although there is another kind of marriage that is in other peninsulas or other areas that I cannot talk about because it's not in our law. So that one, no. At the moment, until there is a subsequent what? Legislation. Ladies and gentlemen, so if you have been married for 5 years and you intend to become a Ugandan, we have even come with the forms, I think, for registration. You can fill the forms and register as a citizen of Uganda. Then Article 12.2c, every person who on the commencement of the 95 Constitution had lived in Uganda for 20 years, so that was around 1975 to 95 and below, you could be registered as a citizen of Uganda. Then after all those categories, our law is so fair, it even went ahead to say now, no, if you failed in being a citizen of Uganda by birth, you are not a citizen of Uganda by registration, you can be naturalized. But there are conditions you should fulfill. And the first is, you must have resided in Uganda for an aggregate of 20 years. Then you must, yes. No, it's not continuous, it's aggregate. So if you can prove that you have lived in Uganda for at least 20 years, even if you're Chinese or Japanese or what, but you can prove I've been around for the last 20 years, you can be registered as a citizen of Uganda. You can, oh sorry, I think I missed something here. 12.2b, registration, let me take you back. Registration, the Constitution provides for a person who has legally, voluntarily and legally lived in Uganda for 10 years. People who have been on work permits, who have invested in the country and lived legally on work permits for 10 years, qualified to apply for citizenship. Then the other one was the one of 75. Then naturalization. This one is meant to give like amnesty to people who have found a way of hiding behind the tunnels. Then the law says, no, you come, Uganda loves people. Come and get recognized by the government and become a citizen of Uganda by naturalization. So if you have been in the country for 20 years, you have been resident in Uganda for a period of 24 months preceding the date of application, you have knowledge of English or a vernacular language, or Swahili, and if we naturalize you, you intend to stay in Uganda permanently, those are the conditions you should prove. We can register you as a citizen of Uganda. Then, there is a special category of citizens. When we talk of citizenship, yes?
The minister lent you one of his staff who has a laptop.
Okay.
We've gone through. Yeah. That's why. It's okay.
No, but I would love it for your citizenship because it has issues.
Bring it
Yeah,
back.
bring it.
Because now, after registration,
You want to lose coins?
Come back.
please come.
Come back. We apologize.
Yes, okay. If you pay that,
I appreciate that. Thanks for the call.
that is an estimate.
No, it's not easy though, but you know, we have to.
Some of you ask your questions. You ask questions in your mind. You find a person, he owns a plot in some of the posh places. When you look at his appearance, he doesn't look to be amongst the people of indigenous communities, but here he has been around since his grandfather has been in Uganda for a very long time. And some of them claim they're citizens of Uganda. The ordinary person may not understand it. But when we got independence in 1962, before 1962 we were being governed by the British, and they had what they called the British Nationality Act of 1948. It's the one that determined who is a citizen at the time. That by that time we were Her Majesty's subjects, all of us. That's why in 1955 you had that a governor one time had to deport a very top Ugandan official. I'll not mention the person, and says he has deported him back to his home. You understand what I mean? Because we were all Her Majesty's subjects at that time. So we inherited people who had lived in the country. Some of them had been naturalized by the British government at the time and were handed over to Uganda government in 1962. And yes.
You wanna come over here? This side.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to take you back to 1962, that you'll find people who are not your color, don't speak your language, but are citizens of Uganda. Because before independence, there was a law regulating citizenship, which was for the entire British Empire. Then we inherited most of the people. In the 1962 Constitution, it was to the effect that there was Section 7.1 that every person born in Uganda, and also said one of whose parents was a member of the protectorate, a colony, or was a British subject. But said on condition that at least one of your parents had been born in Uganda before before.
Would it be possible to remove these front lights?
So, if you were born in Uganda before independence, your parent was also born in Uganda, one only. You qualified as a citizen automatically. Then the other category were told to register. So those are the citizens. Article 9 of the Constitution currently talks about. And continue. We have speech naturalization. Next slide, yes. So those persons had acquired citizenship under 1962, 66, and 67. So you find a Briton, for him he says, I'm a Ugandan citizen because of those laws. Then we also had the 1966 and 67 constitutions. So you'll find an Asian, and he's a citizen of Uganda. So don't be surprised to see that. Although sometimes people criticize us for just giving out citizenship, but we follow certain laws to give out citizenship, and these are the laws. So there are people who are like us, citizens of Uganda, regardless of their color, as long as they were members of the British protectorate colony and their parents, and they were born in Uganda before independence. At independence, they became citizens automatically. Then the other category, whose parents who were born in Uganda, but the parents were also not born in Uganda, had to register. So they registered and have certificates, and they're citizens of Uganda. So there was those other constitutions, many people have been registered within the process in those other different laws because constitutions have been changing. Now up the 95 Constitution, citizenship being a very, very important concept, had to import all those people, and was the effect that all those persons who are citizens of Uganda before commencement of the 95 Constitution shall remain what? Citizens, so are still citizens of Uganda. So ladies and gentlemen, I think you have moved ahead. Go back. Again? So we come to the celebrated concept of dual citizenship. Status of the person who is legal citizen of two countries. Article 15 of the 95 Constitution, as amended, now allows dual citizenship. The Uganda Citizenship and Immigration Control Act, Cap 66, provides for the procedures for those Ugandans who had lost their citizenship to reacquire, because Cap 65, the old law, required you in the Constitution that if you get citizenship of another country, you must renounce. Even if you didn't renounce, it was automatic, you lost Uganda citizenship. So the laws now, even if you lost, you just inform the board that I'm now an American, although initially I was a Ugandan. In this year I lost my citizenship and became an American. I'd like to be reinstated as a citizen of Uganda. Without question, you'll be reinstated.
I hope they know what the board is.
The National Citizenship and Immigration Control Board.
What happens if you're still a Ugandan and you want to get American citizenship?
You want to get American?
Yeah, you're still a Ugandan. You have not.
I'm going to answer those questions through this presentation. So let us continue. Next slide. So Section 19.1 of the Act is to the effect that allows the citizen of Uganda above the age of 18 years who voluntarily acquire citizenship of another country other than Uganda to retain citizenship of Uganda. Doesn't that answer your question?
No. Say that again.
It allows a citizen of Uganda above the age of 18 who voluntarily acquires citizenship of a country other than Uganda to retain the citizenship of Uganda. Now you do not lose it, you stay with it.
Okay.
Then 19.2 permits a person who is not a citizen of Uganda, after acquiring citizenship of Uganda, to retain his or his other citizenship. So our Nigerian brother, if he acquires Ugandan citizenship, now if he qualifies by those other types I've mentioned, you have seen, can also retain his Nigerian citizenship. However, there are conditions. There are conditions, and these are the conditions. For a citizen of Uganda originally, a citizen of Uganda who desires to acquire citizenship of another country while retaining his or her citizenship of Uganda shall give notice, not to the president, in writing to the board. The board is the National Citizenship and Immigration Control Board. It has attended UNA functions twice, the conventions. Although the members of UNA are sometimes too busy. Yes, they are too busy. But when these people come, please address all your questions, because the Constitution has mandated them to answer all those questions. And we work on their behalf. We work on their behalf. So we have been sent to give information on their behalf. So to give notice in writing to the board in the prescribed form and accompanied by a statutory declaration stating that he or she is a citizen of Uganda. As simple as that. Can you fail to get a statutory declaration? 2, where the person is a citizen of Uganda and another country, a declaration for renunciation of citizenship of a third country. We don't accept triple. Some of you have 10 citizenships. We don't accept more than 2. So if you have another citizenship, please renounce it before we leave this place. See, evidence that the applicant is or above 18 years of age. Can you fail? I think this is simple. Your passport will definitely show. Evidence of the other citizenship, a copy maybe of your passport, and any relevant information that you may want to give us. Any relevant information. In fact, this law is so good. It even tells you to give what you want or not give. But the other one, at least that declaration in writing that you're a citizen of Uganda and you have acquired citizenship of another country. You're just informing the board.
By the way.
You understand? It is so plain that you're just informing us that.
It is by the way.
Yes. I have another citizenship.
By the way.
So the law is so soft. It's not like the other land law that was.
But
so
it's not a by the way.
So the Ugandan, please, you give notice to the board in a prescribed form. And let me take the honor of giving you the prescribed form. And if you are ready, we are ready to give dual citizenship in this room. Even the certificates are here. On condition that you fulfill the conditions.
One with the microphone.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please patience, because all the questions we are going to ask, we have them in mind, and we are going to answer them today. So we go to the next slide. Now this is due to be fulfilled by a non-citizen originally. For example, our brother is a Nigerian, but has qualified to be registered as a citizen of Uganda and wishes to obtain dual citizenship. Remain with that status so that doesn't renounce his Nigerian citizenship. You must fulfill the conditions of registration and naturalization under section 14 and 16. That's why I was taking the trouble of convincing you of how to acquire Ugandan citizenship by registration and naturalization. Because it is a condition for a non-Ugandan to become, first of all, a Ugandan before you qualify to become a dual what? Are we together?
Yes.
So if you have been registered, you've qualified, for example, you're married to a citizen of Uganda for 5 years. After you qualify for registration, Then now assess whether you qualify for you according to our law. You should be 18 years and above. Because what's important is your consent. But the law of your country, our dual citizenship is reciprocal. If your country does not give Ugandans, if your country does not permit us, we also don't give you. If Nigeria does not give your citizenship, Uganda also doesn't what? Give you. That's the limitation. So you must prove that your country permits your citizenship. Very good. So now we can also give you as a reciprocal arrangement. You should not be a subject of deportation order from Ugandan territory or any other country. We need that evidence that you're a very good person, you have not been deported from anywhere else to become a problem to Uganda. You produce that evidence. You should not be under a sentence of death or imprisonment exceeding 9 months imposed by a competent court. So you must be of good conduct. Then you should have adequate knowledge of the prescribed vernacular language, English, or Swahili. Next slide, please. You must satisfy the board that he or she has not been in Uganda as a refugee or diplomat, because citizenship is voluntary. A refugee is not in Uganda voluntarily. Because if things get better in this country, you'll go back, isn't it? And we don't want to steal you from your country. We help you, we stay around, but when time comes, you can go back, you are free, don't just take you. Then diplomats, these diplomats, in most cases, our diplomats brothers are not here by choice. It's an instruction, move. Like we are also sent here, they say move, you don't ask. In the service, you don't ask where you are going, you move straight. So you can't get citizenship of Uganda. That's why it's in the other provision. In the registration I was talking about diplomats and refugees could not be registered. Then you must possess something special, a rare skill or capacity to transfer technology.
Who is this? This is
A foreigner, not a Ugandan. A foreigner. But when it comes to marriage, surely, if a person has looked after your sister for 30 years, is that a rare skill? So continue to the next slide. So those are conditions.
That is a rare skill in Uganda?
Yes. Around the world, not only Uganda. So there are these general conditions. Yes. You are applying for you should be before being registered, satisfy the board that you're not in espionage against Uganda. You have not served in the voluntary service of armed forces for all security of a country hostile to Uganda. He or she has not attempted to acquire citizenship by fraud, deceit, or bribery. You have no criminal record. Please continue. Another slide. Those of your country permit, you are above 18. He or she is of sound mind, does not hold more than one citizenship. So before you get the Ugandan, we don't expect you to have 3 or other 4. So we only want 2. Then you're not a bankrupt or insolvent. You must be able to show that. Not for the Ugandans, the other brothers who are coming. We want people who can look after sisters very well. So there's one provision, I don't know whether it was omitted, but causes some bit of controversy when it comes to foreigners acquiring. You must have been resident in Uganda for 10 years. You must have been resident in Uganda for 10 years to apply for dual citizenship. So my brother, at the moment, you can register to become a Ugandan, but dual, because you have not been resident in Uganda for 10 years. That's the impediment. However, when you pray very much, if you're a God-fearing person, God may change this provision. So keep praying, keep praying. So man of God, pray, things may change.
Some of them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the most asked questions about your citizenship, one of the things to note is that minors are not allowed to hold dual citizenship.
What?
children are not allowed to hold dual citizenship. This is derived from international conventions. The only duty the convention puts on a member state of those international conventions, you know conventions, because we are very international. The United Nations charters, what, all those. The charter, the ICCPR, that one of political and civil rights, it gives state parties an obligation to give a child citizenship, but not dual, if you read them very well. They don't want stateless people. So if America gives you, you'll wait up to 18 for consent. When you're an adult, to say, sure, let me be a Ugandan. You understand? That's the spirit in which this law was made. Because even the conventions, the duty they put upon countries is not to make people stateless. So if you're in America and you're born, let America give you what? If it gives you, the other state parties are not bound to give you. You understand? You get my point? No. What I am saying is if America has given you, now Uganda has no obligation to do what? To give you at that tender age. But at 18, when you're an adult, you can decide to claim your Ugandan citizenship. Like I said, you are still a Ugandan by birth if you are born in America to parents who are Ugandans originally. You are a Ugandan, but you cannot hold two citizenships when you are young. But at 18, when you are old enough, you make a decision. So you can apply when you make 18 years. The citizenship is not taken away. That's just a technicality, you understand? Because you're still young. However, there are other facilities you can apply for. For example, a child can apply for a dependent spouse. A parent can apply for a child dependent spouse up to 18 years. That dependent spouse is only $100. And you can enter Uganda for as many years up to 18. You don't have to pay visa each time you come. You get my point? When you apply for a dependent spouse, I see many of our sisters and brothers make that mistake. When they bring a child to Uganda, or they have a child in America, they do not go to the embassy or to immigration to apply for a dependent spouse. That's why they keep complaining about paying visa each time they do it. But the dependent spouse for a child is up to 18 years. Even if the child is 1 day, it's up to 18. So each time you come to, it's a multiple visa. You keep coming for free. You don't pay money again.
No, you're for the $100.
For the $100.
Explain, where must you be residing? Must you be residing in Uganda or here?
Anywhere.
You come in with the child.
Yes. So now the embassy is going to be facilitated. That's why, okay, now that's the other concept. Because we are coming to the electronic visa application. The systems have come to the embassy. You'll be able to get these things here. You apply from home, you just go for personalization at the embassy. As simple as that. So, is there a problem? No. Have I answered? Please, your question faster.
What is the fee for this child?
$100.
So,
But if you talk so very well to the permanent secretary, maybe you So the questions are coming. Let me first finish.
Okay.
Yeah. So section 19A and B, more than two citizenship is not allowed. Two only, Uganda and America. If you have South Africa, Sudan, whatever, please. Only two. In our law, they allow dual, not triple, or quadro, or petro. Two.
Rwanda is an ethnic.
So I was saying,
Isn't Rwanda? Rwanda is an ethnic group of Uganda under the constitution.
yes, that's right, a community.
I just wanted to come that way. No, it's a Uganda. It's okay.
So you can have dependent spouses or student spouses. Can either be a student, if the child is in Uganda studying, you can apply for student spouse. It attracts a fee every year. Those of the region don't pay, but other passports pay $100 every year for the whole year. But that one you can still move wherever without interruption.
Let's go to the next slide.
Next slide. So currently, God has blessed Uganda. We are moving forward. Vision 2040, now we have the visa. We are issuing visas online. We have moved away from paperwork. So that is the website where you can apply for e-visas when you're coming to Uganda. Then Immigration services will be online by the end of 2016-2017 financial year. So beginning next financial year, 2017-2018, even these forms you see for dual citizenship, they'll be online. They'll be online, there will not be before with us. So we are also soon migrating to the electronic passport. Electronic passport. So with those few remarks, I would like to stop here, and we will entertain as many questions as possible because we are here for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, colleagues, I believe that that presentation has shed more light on a number of issues. Nonetheless, we have raised a number of questions, so we can have the lights back. I think, Honorable Chair, I can now hand over to you. Thank you.
So can we have the questions, please?
First question, actually comment. Thank you so much. You've talked about these immigration officers in Kampala who come at UNA. I think you have done a much, much more wonderful job than those guys. I know a lot of things could have changed maybe in the last 4 months with the new permanent secretary. Thank you so much. And my question one is about the dual citizenship. Let's paint a scenario. I'm an American, born in Uganda, so Uganda by birth. I go back as a citizen and reapply to get citizenship. So now I'm dual. 2-3 years down the road, I want to become a Fijian. If I want to be the Australian. How do you deal with me when I became a dual citizen of Uganda with only one to get the second and the third one is sitting on yours? That's very hard to understand. I decided to be 10 years down the road, I decided to become a Muslim. Yes, okay, listen, quiet. It's quiet. In Australia, which is going to ask me to renounce what I have, I don't think Uganda should be telling me to renounce what I'm to get. That's my thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Let me finish. I'm sure that we are not following my logic. The question is, how do I go about it? Is it legal or not legal? Okay, that's one. Number two, here you are saying on these forms that one of the signatories could be a High Court judge, notary public. No, the other one. Magistrate or commissioner. Yes, I understand. But I don't have to feel all these things. I may not be able to feel them today. And he's not going to stay living here with us. He'll be in the Kampala. That's right. Okay, can I use, for example, Her Excellency to sign in his place for this small form, which is specifically saying magistrate or commissioner for all? Is it possible?
No.
Okay, no. Yes, she's neither, but I'm asking whether they have any provision for us, except wanting us to take this form to Kampala for signing and coming back. Come on, think what about okay. I thought about
We
my
have been here for so long already.
3.
I agree. Wrap, wrap up.
3 on this.
It's good.
Actually, let me do for the others.
Yeah,
Because, sorry. Let me first answer those.
Honorable Chair, is it possible to get the names of the people who are asking questions?
Please, can you say your name?
Cliff Musimenta, and I live here in Washington, Maryland area.
You don't have to write
Mine is a simple question. If I was to take up dual citizenship, what rights am I losing when it comes to land ownership? Now that I'm a citizen, what?
You get enough.
No, I'm a Ugandan. I want to know what land rights I'm losing. Or are they the same? That's it. That's all I ask.
That's all you got?
Well, I also see here they say
It was a simple one.
there is no citizen by descent, but every immigration paper has it on it. I don't know why, but you said it isn't there, but you check on every immigration paper handed out by Uganda government, it says you can be citizen by descent. I think you should check that one out. Even on this one you have given us.
Mr. Nantamu. Mr. Nantamu had a question.
Yes. My name is Edward Nantamu, and I have a single question too. I became an American citizen in 2000. This law was passed in 1995. So I retained my Ugandan citizenship. Is that right?
Yes.
So if I retain my Ugandan citizenship, I really don't have to fill in this form because I'm a Ugandan. So what do I have to do just to make my status legal without applying because I retained it?
Mike, I have a quick question.
My question is, how about the voting rights? Can we vote as dual citizens of Uganda?
Of course.
What elections can we vote in? Constituency, presidency, my local council at my grandmother's place in the Gomba. Can I vote for Gomba local council?
Can I stand? Can I stand at the end of the... I suggest, I bring here the microphone. Florence, I'm the one chairing. I suggest we get these questions answered, then we get another part. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Let me ask the Commissioner Ngodia to respond to some of this.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon or good evening.
Good afternoon.
A gentleman asked about acquiring Australian citizenship if we are already a dual citizen. That explanation has already been given.
Yes.
Once you become a dual citizen, you remain with two citizenships. If you go for the third one, you must give up one of the first two.
Yes.
That's why it's called the dual.
Then signatory. Then signatory, High Court judge and so on, magistrate being signatories to that form. That is supposed to be the way. But in the circumstances, a notary public would work here in America.
Yeah.
Her Excellency, the ambassador, if she knows you well, you can also honor her signature.
Ah, that's it.
Citizens voting rights for dual citizens, you lose nothing except that you don't occupy certain offices of state if you are a dual citizen. President. And being a member of the National Citizenship and Immigration Board, and being a head of a section of the armed forces, and so on and so forth.
Repeat that, sir.
When you become a dual citizen, it does not affect your voting rights in whatever office. But you don't occupy certain offices. I've already mentioned being a president is one of them. Being a member of the National Citizenship and Immigration Board is one of them. Being a commander of a section of the armed forces is also one of them. Vice President, Cabinet Ministers, Inspector General of Police, technical head of branches of the armed forces, commanding officers of the armed forces, officers responsible for heading department, responsible for records, personnel, logistics in all branches of the armed forces, Inspector General and Deputy Inspector General of Police, heads and deputy heads of the National Security and Intelligence Organization, and members of the board, as I had already mentioned earlier. I don't want to bore you. Let me allow my friend also to answer.
One question,
No, he's answering.
Please.
They are still answering.
The other people answering.
Thank you very much.
We would want to make sure that each one of us makes a contribution, so let him also now answer the
I see one of Mr. Ambaji Kanjuri saying that what rights is he losing as a dual citizen? You're a citizen of Uganda and you enjoy all the rights I enjoy. In fact,
Land.
more.
Mine are to good land.
Yes.
Can I own
Let me
land?
go back to the other presentation, though it was not our presentation. Now I am talking as a trade lawyer. I had some people saying that foreigners cannot own land in Uganda, right?
Yeah.
It is not true. Foreigners can hold land. The only difference is they cannot hold land in perpetuity.
Yes.
That is freehold and minor land. But they can hold lease. They can hold leasehold. In fact, with an American passport, once your citizenship changes and you want to apply for your citizenship, once you go to lands, the register of lands may not tell you, but you will automatically enter a lease of 99 years, even if you go to Milo. You understand? That is the technicality there. You will buy Milo from someone, you are Kajuri, but when they tell you to identify yourself and you present an ID for America or Uganda, they will automatically enter 99 years. That is the registration. The Registration of Titles Act.
How about freehold? I'm now.
Freehold is only for a citizen of Uganda. A foreigner holds leasehold. Even if you had Milo and you became a foreigner, it automatically results to lease of 99 years.
So a dual citizen can hold freehold.
Freehold and Milo land.
Okay, that's all. That's all I need. So he has the same rights.
Your citizen can vote.
No, in
Your
last.
citizen can be elected for office, can hold office. Apart from those, you cannot stand for president. The president is a very sensitive position. The president, vice president must be citizens of Uganda only.
No, apart from those which have been
Are you sure?
So,
okay, you answer another
no,
question.
so a dual citizen holds the same rights as a citizen.
Yes.
Period. As far as land,
Exceptions.
no, as far as land, I don't care about
As far as land,
running for president is
you should
different.
not worry, your land is very
You can
safe.
come by the gun, that one you don't know.
Mr. Edward, you are talking about you acquired citizenship in the year 2000 before the 95 Constitution. That same Constitution was amended in 2005 to accommodate your citizenship. Before, in 2000, when you became an American, you lost your citizenship. So, you should apply to regain. But it's a simple procedure. On that form, just informing the board. Informing the board and they grant you dual citizenship. And they recognize you as a citizen of Uganda. That is all.
Okay, I think we are done. Narissa,
I have one question.
over to the chair.
I have a question about that voting thing. Can you register here and vote at the elections?
Okay, can we remain organized, please? I will give you an opportunity, so the question is, Mr. Semana, do you have a question?
Yes.
See, you are from Union Executive, so.
My question is very straightforward. In regards to the time frame for application processing, I just want to know what the time frame is. You may not be able to provide a specific number of days, but is it fairly quick or is it kind of tight?
Thank you, Scout again. My question was, can we register to vote as Ugandans, to vote in Uganda's elections, voting from here?
We'll request that through you. Can we listen to each other, please? Thank you.
My question is a follow-up on the exceptions of the offices you cannot hold, like president or run for some ministerial cabinets. Can you
There was a comment from Gladys here.
I want to encourage you, especially those who have property in Uganda. Come 2018, if you're not registered with the NILA, that's the National IT Registration Authority, lands will not be able to transact because there are many things we want to control so that you're safe. So we encourage you, register with NILA, come 2018, you'll not be able to do what? Transact without a national ID.
Where can you find now? Everybody will ask.
I'm responding to his comment. Even now you cannot.
Use the mic.
Oh, sorry. Even right now, if you want to register your land, you cannot if you are not if you do not have the Ugandan ID. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was saying that it's starting at 2018.
No. Very strict.
Even
What?
now.
Now you can use your passport, but
Ugandan
the national ID.
Ugandan passport.
The national ID is going through the unique identifier. It identifies you unique, in a unique way. Nobody can use it to transact. This is going to be automated, that we are pulling services from the special authority.
What about today?
Today you can. Today you can. Because you use them, you can use your passport.
We need your name.
Yeah, my name is Hilda. So I just wanted to ask, in 2014 I traveled to Uganda. I started my dual citizenship application, but it never went through. It took me all the time I spent in Uganda just to go by, going from place to place. Eventually it didn't go through. They took my Ugandan passport and I never heard from anybody. So I had that process started. So I don't have a Ugandan passport, but just copies of it and copies of everything that they did. So I don't know whether to start anew or
police.
Because I never got my passport back. And since then, my names have changed by marriage.
Wow.
So it's even worse to track that passport.
Okay, we have the line behind.
Yes, my question is about the national ID. How can we apply for the national ID from here without traveling to Uganda and going from the overseas? Another point comes back to the gentleman who talked about dual citizenship. He said 1995 was the mark. So whoever gets American citizenship, maybe this year or last year, doesn't have to go through this process of registering. Just if I'm coming to Uganda, I just use my Uganda passport, and then coming back, I use the American passport. I need to understand
Oh, you are reporting many people in the room.
I'm in the same category with Hilda. I also went to the internal affairs to get a dual citizenship. I went to the police, to Interpol and all that, and I never saw anything. And they told me to wait in Uganda for 3 months. Okay, that's what it was. To say something about that. Now, I'm also agreeing with the gentleman there, Mr. Tamba. When we receive citizenship as American citizens, we do not renounce Ugandan citizenship. We do not.
You actually have to sign that you renounce any other citizenship. If you don't sign, you don't get it.
Okay, sounds like the answer is like who's Can we get back to that?
It's my phone. He's saying me.
Yes, say you don't have
Yeah, colleagues, I am personally humbled by some of the comments I have heard, especially for those people who applied and they were told to wait for 3 weeks and 3 months, and they have never had any response. I think that is unacceptable. I would say, unless and until I get to know the specific details, but it's a sign of responsibility on our side. But it will depend on what kind of responses I get. But this is the assurance I would like to give you, that in order to improve our service delivery, we are now working on revamping our website to make it very interactive. And one of the things that we are trying to do on that website is to make it easier, wherever you are, to be able to drop a comment or a complaint. And I have made it clear that once a complaint is dropped, it has to come to me myself. Okay? So that I'm able to follow up when complaints are raised. How long does it take my people to respond to those complaints? That is one of the things that we are trying to do. So that one we are still in the process. Very advanced. And if you check our website, probably in about 3 weeks, you may find it has already been redesigned. For those specific complaints, Your Excellency, the Ambassador, I would like to leave my email behind and request that you share it, and I get those complaints, the details of each of those complaints. And then I take it upon myself to respond. Because it will involve me asking my staff to go to the registry and retrieve all those files and determine exactly what happened. Because we don't want that kind of thing to be happening. So for Hilda and others, I think let us take it up like that, and then we formally respond. Then there was a mention of the National Identification Registration Authority. This is a new agency, again of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. That is also under the Ministry of Internal Affairs. It's one of my agencies, whose responsibility is to register Ugandans. That is the overarching responsibility of this agency. This agency has just been set up. It is now operational. It managed to register the people during the last elections, as you are aware. But many of us Ugandans have not yet registered. And I think you know how important it is to have a national identification card. It's extremely important, isn't it? Because if we are going to improve service delivery everywhere within government, that national identification number is key, even to the banks, everywhere, you know, the public service, even when it comes to applications for passports. We are trying in a very short time, I don't think it will take us more than 2 months from now. We are quite advanced. We want to make sure that people are not asked to go to get letters of LOCs. Okay, once you have that national identity card, it means you have already, everything have already been captured. Okay, and therefore there is no need to send somebody to go and get letters of LOCs. Since you are Ugandans here, I can tell you this. Whenever people were being asked to go and get letters of LOCs, what they will do is to move outside the Ministry of Internal Affairs and find their people with stamps who had already set up their own market there. And get those stamps from there. That's what I'm telling you as a Ugandan. Okay? Now, this is is what we have done. When I came in, I said, I don't want to see this market there. So that is one of the markets I have dismantled. It's no longer there. But that's not enough. To kill that market further is to do away with this request for letters of LOCs, which in my view are useless because people are not even going to the LOCs to get to them. Okay? They were just moving outside there, and it was creating confusion around that ministry. So, I am trying to, this National Identification Authority is still, Registration Authority is still a new institution. It's setting up the structures and systems, recruiting adequate staff. But the issue of how one can register online for this, that might be a little bit difficult for now. But the same way you can register for citizenship, I think we can examine it further to see how personalization can be done. The challenge here would be personalization because they have to take your fingerprints. So we have to see how that can be done. Either by arranging specific periods and maybe a team can travel here. I don't know, where we have the majority of the Ugandans in these countries. And during that period, either week or so, that personalization is captured, is done, and they travel back. But I am going to take it back and discuss it with our team, and we see the best that can be done. In the same spirit, I will be dealing with the Excellency, the Ambassador, to give you the updates in as far as that is concerned. The rest of the questions I would like to ask the Commissioner Ongodia to respond.
Thank you very much. Yes. The time frame. We have streamlined many of our operations. So most of the applicants get their response within 2 weeks. I am once again apologizing for the delay of those 2 applications. But we're interested in the particular circumstances which led to that. Sometimes we have people who don't work there and they confuse applicants and they spoil our names. And there are very many, as the peers have said, they used to hang outside and they have just been chased away. Then when somebody gives up the one citizenship, whether I can start.
I can clarify something further on that. In as far as the minimum period, no, the maximum period it would take you to get the service, we are working on what we call the minimum service standards, which will again be available to everybody on the website, which we commit to. So that once you have made an application and it has gone outside those minimum service standards, you can officially lodge a complaint.
So I was talking about somebody giving up the alternative citizenship in order to stand for the positions which have been exempted from. It is obvious if you become a singular citizen, you would qualify for all positions. National ID, the PS has already answered that. You cannot, for the moment, apply for a national ID from here.
You cannot?
No.
For the time being, until we revolutionize our system, you cannot apply from here.
For the national ID?
Yes. Yes.
You cannot apply for the national ID
from here,
but you can apply for dual citizenship that also needs biometrics. How does that work?
No. Well, what is going to happen is this. We have given you the forms to fill. The management of those forms will leave to us.
Without biometrics?
Because what we are going to do is to go for e-citizenship. That's when we shall handle the applications online. We have not yet reached there. So once we have given you these forms, once you fill them, we shall coordinate with them so that to see how we can get your biometrics.
All right. My question was
Was it the one of voting?
not my problem with the two passports. Uganda in and out.
Okay.
Don't try it.
Okay, question.
I was asking about my ID. When I came to Uganda in 2014, I applied for my ID, but unfortunately I haven't gone back. If I go back, will I get my ID? Because I have already applied.
If they processed it, it would be there for sure. Yeah. But I wanted to say this also. One of the things that we are trying to achieve, and again, I think we are testing again with his department on the passports and other services. We are trying to institutionalize a system whereby if you make an application, you get a notification that your application has been received. And then, because we shall have committed on the minimum service standards, we expect you to get a notification within our time frame you'd expect a reply. And when your instrument is ready, then you should also get a notification that your instrument is ready and can be corrected from this place. The reason why we are doing that, if you come against that Ministry of Internal Affairs, one of the areas which is heavily congested is the one on the receiving side. Because people come and apply, they are told come back in 2 weeks, somebody comes back in 2 weeks, the instrument is not ready. Now what the consequence of that is that you get somebody very dejected in the compound, so many of them loitering around, and the whole press very confused, and certainly people, the person whom we thought come in 2 weeks and the person diligently comes for those other activities he would have done and find the instrument is not yet processed, goes back when he's very extremely annoyed. And that's what we are trying to address. And that is going to cut across even to the National Identity Card and all the other services that we are offering as the Ministry of Internal Affairs. So again, we need your support in this, and we shall keep you informed once all those have been set up. But that's what we are trying to achieve.
PS, before you resume your seat, I have a question here. Will you be there at the next UNA convention in Miami, beginning of September this year? Because the people that you have here are a very small
sample
fraction
sample
of actually a very small sample of the Ugandans. America is huge. The UNA convention, sir, is a good opportunity where you could have up to 3,000 Ugandans.
Your Excellency, the Ambassador, I take this as an invitation. I'm greatly honored by the invitation.
Yes, sir.
And therefore, I'm going to arrange my calendar in such a manner that September is reserved for the UNA convention.
Excellent.
Another round of questions? At the back there. She will be the last. Hello. The questions, my baby sister.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to stand.
It's okay.
But I have maybe a request or a question that how often do you think will be coming for such a thing to be done here? As you came this time, do you expect to come every year, or it's gonna be? Not everybody can go to Miami, but I don't mean even the UNA thing. I mean this kind of thing you're doing now for citizenship, dual citizenship, because there are so many people in various places of the United States who can't go to Miami and who can.
We have one in the back one. I have a suggestion, but I'll propose it.
want to add on a few questions that some of our people have talked about. I was in Uganda probably 2 years ago, even last year, and every time I go, I use the Ugandan passport and the US passport. The last time I used the US passport, I couldn't use the Ugandan passport anymore because you already got in as an American citizen. So I have to pay $100. I think I paid $100, and last year I paid $50. But here's the thing: I also tried to apply for the dual citizenship, and I went there and I got a list, which I actually still have here, with 14 requirements, including getting a letter from the Interpol. So my question is, the gentleman earlier said that once we register these documents here, or this form here, we're going to get certificates out of this. Now, will that override all the requirements that we're supposed to be filling in that document, the 14 requirements that I have here, including that Interpol letter from the Interpol and all that? Will it override all that?
Although it's changing after they have the rule here.
I can't. I had it. I had to do citizenship, but I had to
Thank you very much. I also have two questions and a comment to make on maybe a little bit of clarification from the gentleman who came from the ministry and internal affairs. Number one is a question regarding inheritance. Some of us have kids here, and in one of your presentations, the PS, no, not the PS, the gentleman,
the lawyer.
Right, yes. You mentioned that children, minors, cannot have dual citizenship, meaning they now have the United States citizenship only. So I'm taking a scenario when both parents leave, okay, they die, and they have property and activities going on in the country. So what do they do in order for the kids to inherit? What process do they have to go through? Do they have to wait till they're 18, they acquire the citizenship, so they can take over the business or something like that, or land or whatever is going on there? The second question is regarding what just happened a few days ago. I'm sure everybody has been dismayed with what happened with the murder that took place of the AIGP. This is a very big concern to people living here. A friend of mine says in Uganda he died for free, and where there's still investigation going on for the late Nevanda. The police has not come up with a conclusive report of who killed who. And it's really, really very troubling, and we'd just like you to mention, give assurance of security. Here there's security and not really security, but when the guy someone killed another person, there will be,
What's the question? That's the last question? Yeah. It's kind of going long, yeah.
My name is Evelyn Juchi, and yes, a few years back, I came across an article that mentioned the East African passport. And I read that it was just strictly right now for government officials, diplomats. I guess I just want to know what is the progress on that, so that if I come, visit Uganda, I can travel to Rwanda, I can visit Kenya without that restriction of, or having to pay, additional fee of that. What is the progress on that?
Is Rwanda still, part of East Africa?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Where have you been?
I would like to answer that lady's question with the permission given to me by the PS. First of all, let us all thank our president, Mutambi, for appointing me as a special presidential assistant.
You're blowing your own horn.
So, on that note, this is the beginning. We will be organizing more events, workshops like this. With the help of the ministries and the ambassadors, wherever we'll be, this is a start. So let's all mobilize ourselves so that in the future, when we organize such an event, we all work together to bring it to a success. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Should I respond? Thank you very much. I wish to start by requesting Her Excellency the Ambassador to examine, together with this team and with the Special Presidential Assistant, see how best we can pass over the information to the Ugandans living in the US. For us, we shall be prepared, always be on board, as and when such an arrangement has been put in place. I think, Your Excellency, I'm sorry, I don't know whether I'm asking for too much, but I think that is something that the embassy can always, coordinate. I think the embassy is better placed to coordinate such a, or to organize such an event, of course in collaboration with some people like the Special Presidential Assistant. And many of you, I believe, in your capacities, you can always think of the most effective ways through which such an information you can organize and we can come and pass over this kind of information. On the question of security, I do not want to blow our trumpet, but I think Uganda remains one of those safe places to be, in spite of those isolated and unfortunate events that have befallen us. But I think Uganda, as you know, I have traveled to most parts of this continent, not the continent, of this world, not the continent. I have traveled in most parts of this world, save largely for the East Asian countries. And I still think Uganda, we should thank God that we can still enjoy that level of security. It is only in Uganda that you drive past midnight, 2 a.m., and you find 1 or 2 people who are not necessarily, by their looks, they don't look like Ugandans. They could be Ugandans, but by their looks, they don't look like Ugandans, and you find them walking. Nonetheless, these incidents that have happened have again pushed us to think harder and also put a full stop to them. And I want to assure you that we are working very hard. We are working very hard. I believe that a solution will be found for them. So we are not resting. Even as I was here yesterday, there was an ongoing discussions on this matter. But you know, in matters of security, you don't go on talking everywhere. So you bear with me, I will stop that at this point. And you will start seeing what kind of measures government will be putting in place going forward. The East African passport is operational, and you will say a little bit more. If you want it, please come and apply for it. It's operational, it's in force, it's working. And you can have it alongside your other passports. they do not cancel the other passports. So you can have it, and it enables you to move within the region. The rest I will ask the commissioner to respond.
Thank you very much. The long list of requirements for dual citizenship. Most of that form is actually meant for people who have not been Ugandans before. So for Ugandans, those people who have been Ugandans before, you may not need to produce some of those things.
Yeah.
If you can fill the form, have it notarized, have a covering letter which briefly tells us about yourself, give us the photographs, you may not necessarily need to fulfill all those things. Because we already have a background, we already have a file on you in the ministry.
I know.
Yes, then when it comes to children, if the both parents die, if they are to inherit property, what will happen? Up to the age of 18, nothing bad a foreigner who is related to the late from inheriting the property. Then the mode of ownership will change at the age of 18. Thank you.
Quick follow-up question. So in regards to what I believe Peter was asking is, I think, and you can correct me, Peter, I think he was asking if the form that was presented today, if it supersedes the form that he got in Uganda, because it's trying to accomplish the same.
No, because you said we're going to get out of here with certificates, so at the certificate going to help us.
So,
no,
I mean, that's what he was asking.
To be honest, has any of you already filled the form?
Yes.
They are ready.
The good thing the ambassador is there.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a question that was not answered was about the person who got citizenship before 95 or something like that. He was talking about after 95. The constitution was amended in 2005 to accommodate dual citizenship. Even the 95, from 95 to 2005, those 10 years, it was still rigid. So there was an amendment in 2005. So even if you had lost, you just inform the board in that prescribed form that you have another citizenship now, and they reinstate you. As simple as that. Yes, in that form, once you fill information in that form at the end, you automatically come back to be Ugandan and enjoy all the other.
You don't pay the 400.
Now, that is administrative. That is administrative. You start administrative phase because the certificates cost money. You start administrative phase, but it's not making you a citizen of Uganda, no. Because a person who is a foreigner pays extra money to become a Ugandan first by registration. For you don't pay. It's just an administrative cost. But it's not a cost to become a citizen of Uganda. But the foreigner will pay registration and then pay dual. You get my position? So the fee is administrative. It doesn't make a citizen of Uganda. You're already a citizen of Uganda. It's just an administrative fee. Then the two passports. If you have a dual certificate, no officer will withdraw your passport. But if you have another passport without giving the board notice, that's why they withdraw that passport and tell you, please apply for your citizenship. So once you inform the board and it authorizes, you get the certificate, you can move with both passports. Then about inheritance. There's a long succession, there's a succession act. And there are procedures in that act. If a child is below 18, I don't think the child can inherit land at 18. The courts will appoint a trustee or an executor of that estate. And at 18, that property will pass over to the child. But still, even if a child is a foreigner, he'll get his property. The only thing I told you that if it was Milo and you're a foreigner, it will become lease 100 years, 99 years, you get it. But if you regularize and get your citizenship of Uganda, you automatically hold your freehold. Thank you very much. That was my submission.
Okay, Your Excellency, they normally say that even those who dig on the softer ground, usually there is time to retire. But before that, if you allow, I will ask the Commissioner to explain a little bit more, 1 minute, on the issue of the citizenship, given that you have given these people the forms. What do they do with the forms?
Because you see, we're coming up with the letters, we never saw a requirement for letters.
You know, thank you very much, yes. The most important thing is to keep a record for you. Because if we open a file, and we cannot locate the applicant after we have given him a service, we lose the connection. So that letter can be just one paragraph. It's meant to keep us in contact and to tell us briefly who you are. You are going to fill these forms, probably get the notary public to stamp it, or the High Excellency and the Ambassador. We shall issue the certificate from here, and our director is on his way here. He will sign the certificate from Washington.
When is today?
Today? You told us today.
Today is a weekend.
We expect him to arrive anytime.
What?
No, he's arriving tonight, if I can be more specific.
Yes.
If you have a complete application, and it's my view that the application be handed over to the embassy,
Yes.
then on Monday, we shall check those applications for completeness, and those which are ready, the certificates can be signed off.
All right. At this point, I have Grace in the room. I have Adam at the back there. Please ensure that you pick up the signed, the filled-in forms at the door there. Is that okay?
And the
The complete forms.
So.
The payment is
But they will come with their money.
That's why I was proposing Monday. The filling and the
photographs. Here we move with our credit cards. Make sure that you have them on Monday. This is what we say. So, friends. I think if you really have this burning question that you cannot go home with, then I'll give you the microphone. Otherwise, it looks like we will stay here.
Yeah. Agreed.
We shall translate. I didn't bring my dancing shoes. Now, the PS, before I pass the microphone to the two ladies, who no. I'm going to ask a colleague who arrived towards the end. I don't know whether he meant to close our sitting, but who is he?
And what is he doing? Your Excellency, Mr. PS, about Uganda, Wakona, my name's Apollo Kasita Goa, by rank Brigadier. I'm the Defense Attaché at your embassy here in Washington. I am 5 months old, so I'm still getting to grips with what goes on in America. I'm so glad to see you, actually. I haven't met very many Ugandans. Others have been hiding away from me. I must announce, Tom has been hiding away from me. At Tom Twakura Fenna, Vira Daramuto, Norwejo. And through the embassy, we'll make arrangements and we'll get to know each other more over time. Thank you.
P.S. It seems somebody there is about to, but ladies. Now I will be accused of being
You know it.
favorite. Only ladies are the ones still putting
I'm a
up.
gentleman.
P.S.
Honorable.
First of all, you were asked whether you would be at the convention.
Yeah.
Said yes. And my suggestion is you don't only attend this convention, but ensure that there is representation from the Ministry of Internal Affairs at every other convention, because it is an annual convention. And it's the best, in my experience now, it's one of the best opportunities that we use to disseminate, to engage, to interface with our diaspora. And PS, what's encouraging there is that they do have a structure. They have a national executive, and they have affiliate local chapters. So they have a mechanism through which they can pass information. Then here, everybody is internet savvy, so websites. PS, before you leave, maybe you can share what exactly your website is. We do promise that we will be putting whatever information you give also to our own website, but people can go straight to the website of the ministry and get that information. Then, those who have only an American visa, we do have an East African tourism visa. You can still do tourism at home. Come and buy a tourist visa, be able to go to Rwanda. Rwanda is part of the East African community. Go to Rwanda, go to Uganda, go to Kenya. This tourist visa is by those who are the cooperation of the willing. So Rwanda, Kenya, and Uganda, we have an East African tourist visa. I know some of you would like to do some gorilla trekking. There's a lady here who is threatening that she's going to bust if she goes to the
Thank you so much. So, my question is, as I already started the process of dual citizenship, so do I reapply? And I have copies of everything that I did in Uganda.
Do you pay?
They are going to.
No, we
do
don't.
it.
They're going to take your Then when they took my passport, they said that we won't need the passport, and because citizenship passport is different, it's
I know that sometimes we ask questions, and before we get answers, we are busy talking to each other. We don't listen. I think you even addressed specifically, you and the lady behind them. Yeah.
You are here, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Because I had taken special interest in your area conference, and I will follow it up. Nonetheless, since the service has been brought closer here, and if you are saying that you still have all the documentation is submitted, I would think that it would be of no harm for you to submit this information so that on Monday your citizenship can be worked upon. And but that doesn't mean that I will not follow up what happened to the early application. I am so much interested in what happened.
So
I think we may need to
have a quick recommendation.
Florence.
Even the ambassador, you're going to take it to the embassy.
Okay. I would like to really use this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to see you today as your MC1 champion. PS and your team. the time you've spent with us is invaluable. As you've been following, these questions, they just keep on coming. I think sometimes the answers sound too good to be true. So we repeat them. We are like, did we hear properly? So the questions continue. And the more often that we use such opportunities, the better. I know that you didn't come here specifically to meet with us, but you used that opportunity, thanks to Florence who did the coordination, because we did not only have internal affairs, we had lands. And lands, we had a wonderful session, didn't we? Yes. We had them presented, asked questions, and we've sent in Uganda. That's no Uganda, So, okay, at this point,
before you wind up, we want to say goodbye to our ambassador. You know our ambassador has been transferred to Rwanda.
Can we protest?
So this might be the last time.
We are a country of rights. Can we protest?
I read it in the newspaper, by the way. So I hope the newspaper is right. She will confirm it if it's true or it's not. Sometimes we can't trust the newspaper anymore.
How soon?
But is it true, Ambassador?
Was it in red paper? If it was.
It is true. It is true that I am on transfer to Rwanda, Kigali, and it may also be true that this is really the last time that we are interfacing like this. I should be out of here by end of next month. So in the meantime, I'm actually packing. Packing my bags. For me, it has been wonderful, you know, meeting with you, interfacing with you. Some of you have even made time to come to the embassy to say hello, just to say hello. And I've been very, very much honored. Thank you for being a wonderful, I think during my time, really, PS and team, we tried to improve on quite a number of things. At the time I arrived, the passport machines were dead. They were not working. I found over 100 passports at the embassy. And people would say, don't send your passport to the embassy. But today, we have working machines, we have passports, we are in good interface with the Ministry of Internal Affairs. And my team here, I would like you to stand up again. The people who move their things, come on, Adam, don't pretend you're not hearing me. She is the current consular officer. She's the one who answers your calls. She's the one who works on your renewing of your passports. Those who still need visas, she's the one. He's there making sure that she has the money to spend to do all that work on your behalf. So thank you very much. It's been a wonderful time here. Thank you once again, Florence. Thank you for the organization and the coordination. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I promise that the presentation that we have made here is going to be left with the embassy. I think Your Excellency Ambassador, maybe, is it Mwezi or?
Please, Grace, be at the door there with Adam to receive the forms.
There is a soft copy of it. Get it and get the contacts of these people and many other Ugandans and share the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
And probably the emails of our team can also be shared so that whoever has any subsequent question can send an email and inquire a little bit more as we look forward to serving you better. Thank you very much.